On the third day of plan, must my lawyer gave to me 3 types of trust.
Welcome to day 3 of the 12 days of estate planning. Today we're going to talk about 3 different kinds of trust, 3 types of trust. The first one is a revocable living trust. The second one is an irrevocable trust. And then the third one is going to be a special needs trust. So first, a revocable living trust is going to be a very common type of trust that a lot of individuals do. Specifically in North Carolina, a revocable living trust is a great way to avoid probate. Probate is the ugly court proceeding where your assets have to go through the courts in order to be distributed to your heirs. So with a revocable living trust, you can have this figurative pot of assets in this legal vehicle. And you have a trustee that you've named that will manage this pot if something were to happen to you, to actually distribute your assets to your beneficiaries privately, outside of the court skies. So a revocable living trust allows you to be the grantor, the trustee of your trust. So you can manage those assets that are in that trust while you are alive. If you were to become incapacitated or were to pass away, that's when your trustee, that trusted individual that you chose, is going to start managing that pot and ensure that it's distributed just the way that you want it to be. 2, irrevocable trust. Very different from a revocable trust. An irrevocable trust is going to have assets in a trust like a revocable trust. However, an irrevocable trust is its own separate entity. It is no longer, any assets that are in this trust is not going to be attached to you anymore. An irrevocable trust actually has its own tax ID number, and you appoint a trustee again, but this trustee automatically, once those assets are in that irrevocable trust, will start managing the irrevocable trust, and you will no longer have the ability to manage those assets in the irrevocable trust. There's many reasons why you may want to do an irrevocable trust, and that's very specific to your family and what your needs are. Eventually, if something were to happen to you, those assets will be distributed to your beneficiaries, similar to a revocable trust where your trustee is in charge of distributing those assets. Third, special needs trust. Special needs trust is very specific. You may want to do a special needs trust if you have an individual that is on an income-based government benefit, or an individual that may have special needs and you want to ensure that they can still inherit from you but have someone to watch over that money or that property, whatever it may be. So when you have a special needs trust, again, it's like a figurative pot of your assets for the benefit of that individual, and you have a trustee that manages it for them. So it ensures that if they are in a government benefit, they're not disqualified from getting that inheritance. In addition, if they could not manage that money themselves, it ensures that someone is over that money to manage for them. So revocable living trust, irrevocable trust, and special needs trust. Those are the 3 trusts that we're talking about on day 3 of the 12 days of estate planning.